Hey, what is good, everybody? It's your boy Hyper here again, and once again we've got one of my favorite customizers in the gig, Timbo Toys. Hey, man,
Hey, thanks for
good,
having me on. Excited to
good to
be
s-
here and yeah, appreciate you and what you're doing.
good to see you again. And we just had a big launch of Mando, and Grogu,
Yeah,
and let's real quick get into that. What did you think of that one?
I really enjoyed it. It was a lot more I didn't have a lot of expectations, I tried not to. I tried to stay away from reading too much, ahead of time. I just wanted to kind of go in with, my own thoughts and what did I think and I thought it was just a really fun movie.
I got to admit, I was totally wrong about it. I loved every second of it. I can't wait to go and see it again.
Yeah.
And from a customizer diorama standpoint, there's so much meat on that bone.
Oh yeah, especially all those battle droids.
The battle
Re
droids,
repurposed, battle droids and painted up. Yeah. Oh yeah.
that, and I really want to dig my teeth into some of those swamp scenes. I don't want to give anything away if you haven't seen it yet, but those swamp scenes were
Oh
awesome.
yeah.
You know,
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah. So many cool characters. Really excited to see Imbo, live action appearance. And to me, he didn't disappoint. And yeah.
I didn't think Embo was half as cool as his dog. The dog
Yeah.
was so awesome, right? I just
Oh
loved him.
man.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
He's pretty you look at his history like in the Clone Wars, he's taken on, if I believe right, I think he fought either Darth Maul or Savage Opress. I, I
yeah.
don't I don't think he, really came out on top, but he didn't get killed.
Right.
And then I think he also took on Anakin at some point. And
Right, when he was in the snow there, wasn't he chasing him down the
yeah,
thing? And yeah, yeah,
yeah.
right, yeah.
So to take on, a Sith and a Jedi and walk away, without even missing a hand, I mean, that's pretty impressive.
Very cool character. Yeah,
Yeah.
Embo is definitely a fan favorite. Just so much to love there. And I know. I think when I get that figure eventually, that 6-inch figure, I think there's going to be a little
Oh
dio
yeah.
in the works for that one.
Yeah, maybe like a rainy night, Dio.
Oh, absolutely right. That first of all, Mando's hut was so cool that it reminded me of Kenobi's hut, or it
Yeah,
just so cool.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. It was neat to kind of see inside and just see a little more of that. Yeah, that.
Well, it seems to me like lately you've been on such a roll with your work, and you've kind of maybe it's just me, but it seems like you've really been focusing a lot lately on some some dioramas, more environmental pieces as opposed to doing a lot of figures, and
Yeah,
and I'm loving it. But you've also gotten into like a different scale for more like battle board gaming and stuff like
yeah.
that, like
Wargaming.
130
Yeah,
wargaming.
yeah,
Tell us a little bit about that because those pieces look fantastic that you've done.
yeah, yeah. Thanks. Yeah. Wargaming is kind of what brought me into the figure side here and doing customs and things like that. Kind of started with painting miniatures and building little kind of scenes areas to kind of play those war games around. And war game, you've got a little. I don't have one with me here, but maybe you'll have a picture of it that
Oh
you can
yeah,
show. But these 132nd scale, miniatures of for me, I bought the Star Wars Legion set, and then a bunch of expansions that I've painted up. And you're just kind of have an opponent that you're kind of fighting against.
yep,
You might have objectives that you're trying to accomplish, like, maybe hold the center of the battlefield or go get something and, bring it back to your side. And so I always liked, wargaming, even when I was little, just, the little plastic green army men. I've
oh
got a
yeah.
suitcase full of them that I had as a kid. And, lining those things up. And usually wargaming as a kid involved, like throwing a marble or a rubber band at the figures, but
Right.
this is a little bit more civilized way, I guess, to do it.
And
But
you're kind of focusing on the battle droid legions, is that right?
well, I've got some battle droids I'm working on, and I'm going to use them as a if one side can get to a certain area, they can take control of these battle droids and
Yep.
bring them on as kind of extra reinforcements. They're older, like in my lore with this, they're like an older, unit that's been, shut down, and a group's trying to revive them to kind of give their side the edge to win, type of thing.
And Would you say that in this particular economic circumstance we find ourselves in, it's a little more bang for the buck, maybe?
Yes. Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. That's yeah. I mean, yeah, the wargaming stuff, I feel like it's a lot cheap, can be a lot cheaper. I mean, it could also be more expensive too, but,
Yeah.
a lot of the stuff, like, you'll see some of the stuff I've been making, with just leftover foam pieces that I have, scraps. And
Yep.
so, just putting together some cool terrain. And I think when you do something new like that or make some kind of new terrain piece, it maybe kind of inspires you to, hey, let's play a game. Um,
Well, yeah, let's bite into some of that terrain because
yeah,
that is fantastic. You got a couple of pieces there with you?
yeah, I do. I've got, think you might have seen some of these already.
I have.
Just, some small rock clusters that I've made, just
They
again,
look so good.
easy terrain pieces, that I've made. Um, just nice thing about being foam, just super lightweight, very durable once you put a good sealer on there. Um, and then yeah, I have been working on some new rocks too lately, and it's a different style. I've never tried it before, but they
Hmm.
they really came out cool. I'm really
Those
excited
are
with
really cool. Yeah, it looks like strata. It looks
yeah,
awesome.
yeah,
Yeah.
and I was basically able to take a like a foam cutter, like the wired part of it,
Yep.
and that's how I put the on the sides or whatever. Just kind of ran that there to kind of make those layers. But
Yep.
these came out really cool. Just something different. I tried a different base color too, and some different. There is probably four. I think at least maybe there's five different colors um, involved with this, from yellow to cream to green to red to black. Just a ton of different colors. Here's kind of a piece that stands up that you can go under.
Yep.
Or,
Oh man, they just look so good. So good. It's funny because I'm no stranger to rocks and terrain myself, and I've never seen anybody. Well, I've never tried making it with the wire foam cutter myself. What I
mm,
do is I take the foam and then I put a layer of mache over it, and then I take a knife and dig into the outer layer. But
okay, yeah,
I really like the way yours comes out. It's a little bit more efficient of a for the same thing, right? It looks just as good, and it's
yeah.
awesome. Yeah.
Well, these ones I did use a knife. These ones I glued
Mhm.
together and then used a knife to kind of chip, kind of
Yeah.
cut away, cut slots into it, too, and then this one I didn't use a knife. I used that foam cutter for the entire thing, just kind of shaving off pieces, and just very random with my cuts and stuff. But it actually, I'm really excited with the way it came out.
The thing about those pieces of terrain that you make too is depending on, your angle of the shot that you photograph, you could use those for multiple different scales too.
Yes,
So
yeah,
that's a really and if you make them modular, I'm a big fan of making things modular so you can turn them around, place
yeah,
them however you want. It's such
yeah.
a great bang for the buck.
Yeah, and I think
Yeah.
that's one of the things that kind of starting with the idea of, hey, I'm making terrain for wargaming. That kind of helps because when you do that, you want to make it modular
Sure,
because
right.
you want to be able to set them, where you want to put them, and then be able to set them up a different way later on. So, that modular, I love modular stuff too.
Yeah, yeah, it's I think it's the way to go, at least for me, because then you're not committed to having to shoot a particular angle with the camera.
Yeah,
You can zoom in, close up, all those things,
yeah.
and yeah. And the way that you make your figures too, your figures are so awesome that you do
Oh, thank you.
that they really deserve good terrain, and now you're putting it all together and it's going to be just
Yeah,
mind blowing.
like my little
Oh,
gonk droid here, my
I
little
love the gonk. Yes.
Keurig cup gonk droid.
So yeah, so let's talk about that one because I remember on Instagram I made mention of the fact that it's like from trash to treasure, right?
Yeah.
So okay, what is that? Those are two Keurig spent. I'm imagining they're spent Keurig cups,
Yep,
right?
yep,
Yeah. Okay.
yep. They're more of the I think it's like if you do like a mocha or like a cappuccino one, it empties the whole pod so you don't have to like, empty the coffee grains out, so it's already empty.
Right.
So that's what that is. And then the feet here are actually what you would use to hang a mirror.
Oh yeah, like those little. Yeah, sure,
Yep.
sure, sure.
It'd hang like that, and you'd hold a mirror. So I just, thought, hey, those look like perfect little feet. And I
Hmm.
just found some little, you can't see it in there, but there's like some coffee stirrers that I used a few of them together to kind of attach the feet into the bottom and
Yep.
just give them a little bit of height. And then, some wire, there's some random parts on here. Um, this is two Lego pieces that I used for the eye, a
Yeah, I
flat
can see
one, and
that.
then yeah, and
Oh
that I
yeah.
think that actually helped it really come together because before I added that, I just kind of left it like it was, and I thought it seems like it's kind of missing something, and so adding those two Lego pieces there just really I feel like helped it come together. So and then just some random plastic parts, on there, and you know
It's brilliant. It's brilliant. And the fact that it's made out of, please tell me he has an awesome name like K0FF33 or something like that, right? Like,
I haven't named him yet, so
okay, so
yeah,
he's got to be coffee related, right?
yeah, yeah. He
So
definitely somebody gave me an idea for a name that I'll probably have to use for him. But yeah, and one of the things that I can credit you for this is I saw you using like the weathering powders,
oh
and
yeah, yeah.
so I picked up some of those, and so used some of those like the brown, the rust.
They're
Um,
they're great, aren't they?
yeah,
Yeah,
yep, use that to kind of try
beautiful.
and just make him look like he's been out in the desert for a while.
I was going to ask about that because that has those earmarks of the weathering powders, and
Yep.
yeah, it really just puts the right amount of. It's all about scale with weathering, and the scale seems to work so well on anything like that with those powders. There's not too heavy or thick, or
Yeah.
it just blends beautifully
Yeah.
into things. Yeah.
Looked really nice.
So that is a great custom. What other custom you got working on right now? I know I've
Um,
seen some
I,
other really cool ones.
yeah. Well, this one's I feel like I'm going to cover all the scales here, but I am in the process of
Oh,
doing some 1/18 scale play sets.
yep, beautiful.
Um, I guess they could also be 112 because here's a
Yeah,
112 scale Jawa, and
sure.
he fits pretty good. He could be a small Jawa thing there, but um, just fit trying to work on finishing this up, but got a few more things to do to it. But these are a lot of fun. I left this one. I kind of made it so it has a cut wire
Yep.
instead of attaching to something like it's busted or maybe somebody stole the power converter or something, and
Tika's back at it, right?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So tell me
So
about how what was that made from? What materials is the
it
exterior?
it's all wood,
Okay.
um, all wood pieces. Um, yeah, all of it. So just some, there's some extra wood pieces that I add, like this sign right here,
Hmm.
and then I cut up like little like square pieces of wood. I'll cut them up to kind of make just kind of make it look like it's some kind of language,
Yeah.
that says something about the place, and just kind of put that all over it. Um, and yeah, just some scraps. Like there's some. You look inside there. It's the scraps of a zip tie. Probably kind of hard to see. Um,
I do actually see that. Yeah, look at
yeah,
that.
and then in there you can also see there's some of that grant. That it's like that plastic. They call it like granny. Don't know. It's a plastic like sewing type of thing. Something
Okay.
for I don't know exactly what it is, but yeah. So and then a shoestring obviously for the for the wire.
Yep.
Just try to rust it up a little bit, or make it so it's looks like it's kind of worn, and hopefully doesn't necessarily look like a shoestring. uh,
Everything about your structures, your buildings. First of all, it's got that classic Timbo stamp to it that I absolutely love.
mm,
I love the colors. The colors that you use, like those aquas, they just seem to look like they're so in universe.
yeah,
But
this one's
also,
definitely one of my favorite colors right here, so
yeah, yeah, just the way that you use they aesthetically they look like they belong in the Star Wars universe. It looks like Tatooine or
mm,
maybe some off-world planet. It's just we can always tell when your fingerprints are on something, and
mm,
that's the highest compliment, because
Oh, thank you.
they
Appreciate
just
that.
are so cohesive. Everything looks so cohesive when you see one of your pictures or your little videos. It draws me in. It always surprises me how you want to enter that world that you've created. And that is I think one of the coolest things that any artist can do.
Mm.
And you invite people to want to see what's around the next corner, you
Hey,
know.
thanks. I try to guess I certainly that's kind of what I'm going for. So yeah, thank you.
It's so cool. Yeah. I can't wait to see the Gonk droid. Now, is the Gonk droid going to live next to that building? Because I can kind of see like that could be
he
cool.
he definitely matches that. Yeah, the Gonk this one at least, he'll be kind of a part of my 112th desert world that I've been put together. That's a lot of different modular pieces so that I can move around.
Yeah.
I don't know if I ever shown you any of those. Do you want me to
I would love to.
take a look at
Absolutely.
one of those? Yeah. Well,
Please. Yeah.
kind of since kind of it's behind the scenes stuff. So this is 1 inch foam,
Yep.
but it's basically just kind of a building front, and the back of it is just you know
That's I love
just
it.
just designed so I could fit it in kind of a smaller space. But hopefully people see it, they don't notice just the that's so
Right.
modular. But yeah, so
I love it because you could stack those, angle them. You could do so many things, and without there being a lot of depth to them, it provides for a lot more real estate to make the scene larger,
yeah,
like almost the way they make fake streets in for Hollywood movies. It's just like
yeah,
little facades.
yeah,
That's
that's kind of what
super
I
cool.
was going for. And it just I've got a small space that I use to kind of set that up, and with other things, and it just fits in there really well. And hopefully it looks a lot bigger in my pictures and stuff than what it actually is.
They do. Your pictures always have this sort of grand feel to them. So a lot of times, and also when you shoot a video or a picture, there's so much layered in each shot that you do, that it's almost like, even though you can't see beyond the frame of the picture, that the world is much larger.
Yeah,
And so when you watch it, I have to watch it 3 or 4 times, because there's so much going on. And like, usually a lot of times you can see in your pictures there's like a right angle, and there's something maybe that you can see just off camera,
yeah,
and that's so inviting. That's so cool. And the way
yeah.
that you shoot that
Thanks.
is really awesome,
Yeah,
you
I
know.
appreciate that. Yeah, that's kind of what I'm going for.
Hmm. Hmm.
So that's yeah, and that's a lot of fun too when you create something and then you can publish that picture or whatever, or that video, and just it kind of captures what you were going for. Just something definitely fulfilling about that.
And when you see this all edited together, you're gonna see I'm gonna pump this full of those types of shots that you send me, because I really want people to get in it. If they haven't seen Timbo's work, I want them to
I
experience what
appreciate
we're
that.
talking about. Yeah.
Thanks for sharing and
Oh
supporting.
yeah, for sure, man, for sure.
So
Well, you're one of my favorites, and you and I have talked for now years. I think it's been years now, right?
it
And
has been, yeah,
and I riff off of your ideas a lot.
and
And
I do off of yours.
oh well, thank you. But you've given me a lot to chew on, and I think also, I was talking to a relatively new customizer who's in our stoned and hyper community, and that
Okay.
would be Gen X Brian.
Yeah,
And Gen X Brian has really taken dove into the deep end of the customizing and world
it's
building pool.
it's fun.
And
Once you
he
start, it's hard to stop.
Yeah, and he actually credited you quite a bit, pretty extensively, in a
Hmm.
private chat I was having with him. And he really credited you and several others for being a major influence. And he
Hmm.
says, "God damn, I want to get into that world too." And I'm like, "Yeah, well, follow Timbo. He's the
I
one you want to watch."
I think that's really cool. I think when you do it and you're successful, you create something that you like. It
Yeah.
kind of breaks down the barriers of like, I can't do this, or there's no way I can, make something like that. Once you start and learn that you can, I think it inspires you to try then something else. So I think that if Brian started, that he'll be onto something else. And I've seen some little snippets of some of the things that he's done, and it looks really good.
It's really good. He's learning so fast, and I'm like, slow down, man, because you're going to put me out of business, right? You're going to put me out of business pretty soon, So, but
Yeah.
yeah, it's always fun to learn and riff off of people, and I think that's kind of the name of the game. And every time I see one of your videos, I see something in it that I go, I want to do that the next
Mm.
time around, put my own spin on it, but like. I want to take some inspiration from what I'm seeing here and do it myself.
Yeah.
So
Well, hey, it's awesome that we can inspire each other.
yeah. So what's your latest project? What do you have in store for the next 3 to 4 months? You
Oh.
have any grand design?
I've been trying to make some different stuff. I've got another play set that I've been working on,
Okay.
and I've got two kind of bigger dioramas that I made, um, that kind of have like a cavern, kind of a
Oh,
rocky, you
all
know,
right.
type of feel to them. And they're ones that I will sell, but they're pretty good size. They'd fit in, like a DTOF shelf if anybody has that, and wanted to
Yep.
kind of design them around, more of like the Mythic Legions or the Savage Crucible type figures, that
Okay.
could
Yep.
fit that really well. But it also fit, like GI Joe, Star Wars, and I think could fit both scales too as well. So.
Okay.
So I'll do some shots with both scales so people can kind of see. And I tried to create some layers to it so that, one, if you're displaying your figures, you could see the ones in the back because they're higher.
Right.
And I just, like when there's layers like that, I think it just, fills up some of that space instead of just a, flat kind of, figures just kind of stacked up.
That's the thing. A good diorama, in my opinion, there's layers, there's foreground, background, high, low. You want lots of different options to display things. Yeah, I agree
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. I think it just makes it look better. And like I said, too, it helps to see those figures in the back, if you've got them up above.
Yeah,
Excuse me.
definitely. Well, and so we're just about out of time. So with the last couple of minutes, once again, I always like to ask, if this is someone's first time watching any sort of diorama documentary or how to or anything, what would you tell someone if they really wanted to get into it, but they were intimidated by the process? What would be your advice to someone who was just starting getting into this hobby?
Hmm. Well, I spent a lot of time, I think, just kind of watching others do it through like YouTube videos, things
Hmm.
like that. There's a lot of helpful videos out there of people just how to do it. But I do think, there is something to actually, doing it,
Yep.
and I think, just taking that risk to actually try it. And I think you discover, almost seems like everybody I've talked to that's never done it, but then tries it, I think finds that it's a lot, easier than what you think it is.
Yep.
And that if you make a mistake, you can fix it, you can repaint over it, whatever. But I think just kind of rolling up your sleeves and saying, "Hey, I'm gonna try it." Um, I think that's, just give it a shot.
I would
So,
agree.
and maybe start small. Maybe it's just try it like, making a rock, or
Yeah.
which, technically I've kind of discovered with my rocks that it's a lot more work than,
Yeah.
just a, hey, slapping them some paint on. But maybe start with something small, whether it's like a dio piece, or maybe even it's just, painting a couple pauldrons on a Mandalorian, a different color.
Right.
And so, and the nice thing, with that acrylic paint, especially like on a figure, if you mess up, just take another brush or, paper towel, and you can usually wipe it off.
Yeah, that's
Um,
right.
and so, don't fret the mistakes. And sometimes those mistakes turn out to be the coolest thing about it, like a splash of paint on something, and you're like, oh, that actually looks really good.
Half of the shit
Um,
I do is mistakes,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
Just compounded mistakes. Right now I'm working on something, and I won't get too much into it, but the biggest mistake I made was uh uh I was trying to make a piece of furniture, and I couldn't get it right, and I used an off scrap that I and it was like the perfect shape.
Mm,
And and I'm like, how could this possibly be? You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
and I'm like, it just worked. It just worked out so great. And after trial and error for about 5 or 6 times, the answer was staring at me in the face on the floor as an offcut, you know? And so just, just always look at things, look at things as though you were, maybe the answer that you're looking for or the solution is right in front of your face.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
just give everything a second look before you toss it, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Very rarely do I plan something out and it goes exactly
Yeah,
according to
right.
plan. And
Right.
that's I think good advice for anybody getting into, custom dioramas, figures, is that, don't have to, throw in the towel if you make a mistake. Just work with
Right.
it.
Right.
Just sometimes the color doesn't turn out what you thought it would. The writ dyeing sometimes doesn't,
Oh yeah.
maybe look like you thought it would.
Right.
And so
Exactly. Yeah.
you just got to work with it. So,
Yep.
but yeah. So those happy mistakes, that Bob Ross talked about.
You got it, man. That's my bread and butter. Happy
Yeah.
accidents.
Happy accidents. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, listen, man, thank you so much. I can't wait to load this video full of awesome shots of yours. And we'll get this out real soon, and we'll get it out episode 8, HYPERIZED, the TIMBO
Awesome.
update.
Thank you for having me.
You got it, man. No problem. I always
Love talking
appreciate
to you about this kind of stuff. So
Same.
you're the goat of this, is what I consider. So
Well, I don't know about that. I think there's a lot of really good people out there. I do my thing, but like I said, anything I do stands upon the shoulders of other people, right? So,
sure.
and you being one of them for sure. I got a lot of inspiration from you. So, thank you.
You too. So thank you.
You got it, man. Hey, with that, we'll wrap this one up. Thank you, everybody, for watching, and stay tuned for the next one. Peace.